ever since that Sun article that everyone picked up on came out that said that Howard was not going to get renewed, and everyone misunderstood it too. Everyone thought that Howard was canceled. His contract is up at the end of the year. And in order to re-sign, they're going to lowball him. They're going to offer him way less money because he has way fewer listeners. This is not surprising to anyone. I mean, this same thing happened to Jim Norton not too long ago. And Jim knew it was going to happen.
So he just couldn't agree to that. It just wasn't worth it for him.
Yeah, they lowballed him. They gave him an offer like in the,
that he could refuse.
11th hour. And Jim had no time to really counter anything. So he's just like, yeah, I'm not taking that.
Not only is that what Sirius does, but from Stern's side, he's been threatening to retire or quit since the 90s.
True.
Well, working there at Sirius every 5 years when the contract would be renegotiated, it's not like they were like, hey, guys, just keeping you in the loop. He's got a meeting today and blah, blah. Nobody knew shit. Every contract negotiation, we're all like, hope he resigns. But nobody knew for sure. Howard TV found out while running the show that he didn't, renew with them or in demand.
That's stressful.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that Opie used to do to the whole staff at Opie and Anthony too. And that was every 2 years because Opie would not have a contract longer than 2 years. He wanted to constantly renegotiate and fuck with everyone and not let them know if they had a job or not, which is great for morale.
But Opie at least would write messages in the sand.
Dude, I was watching Opie clips about Howard Stern. Of course, everyone's posting stuff about Stern right now. And the gall on Opie to be like, and he takes the summer off. Opie, you were off all of August. That's why you lost your spot, idiots.
You live in the Hamptons. It's always summer.
Well, no, he lives in New York when it's not summertime. And boy, does he hate it there, Chrissy. He complains about it every fucking day.
Why doesn't he just move then?
Exactly.
He has money.
Right. Why doesn't he just move then? All right. So this article that came out, one of this published 2 days ago, over the weekend. Howard Stern psyched up as rumors swirl around show closure. Bring it on, say sources. So this is interesting. It says reports of the SiriusXM show's impending end have allegedly re-energized radio icon Howard Stern, who insiders say wants to prove he's still one of the best interviewers around. Insiders say, this is a press release. This is his PR team trying to change the narrative.
They're making up their own insiders.
Right. Listen to this. Okay, so here's a quote. He's in a bring it on mind frame, the source said, adding the self-described king of all media, whose $500 million contract runs out in mere months, is considering a shift to video streaming. If he signs with Sirius again or anywhere else, it will be his last contract. I've heard that before. The source said, if Sirius doesn't sign him, he will have a backup plan. He is not going to allow to be a reason for the end of his career besides himself and what he wants to do. They speculated he might move to Netflix or HBO Max.
I don't know if that'll be his call.
Right.
Last year, HBO aired Stern's 2-hour-long interview with Bruce Springsteen. The source described Stern as being pumped up by the speculation over his next move. Now, E-Rock and I have been going back and forth on this, and he came on the show last week on WTP to talk about it. He thinks that original story was planted by the Howard Stern team.
Ooh.
So he thinks that was to get people talking about Howard again and push Sirius into making some decisions and having some discussions and contract conversations. If that's true, and it very well could be, because I'm like, it almost seemed like Sirius put that out, but Eric goes, that's not how Sirius operates. He knows better than I do. If that's true.
I was going to say that. And every year that he was renegotiating, that never was a peep in the press about it from Sirius's end.
Right.
Or from his end. It was just all done behind the scenes.
And so if he's the one who leaked that initial story, it backfired. Because every single person who talks about it goes, yeah, of course, he's washed up and everyone hates him. And he tells people not to listen to his show if they voted for Trump. And all of this shit came out. Even Donald Trump's blasting him for sucking. Yeah. It's like,
well, at least they're talking about him, Carl.
That's true. Everyone's talking about Howard at a time when he's not even doing a show, which is also a crazy thing. He's not even going to be back on for another 4 or 5 weeks.
Wow. I wouldn't be surprised if he made that type of mistake, though, because I remember you did a good job. The only time I ever hear Howard Stern clips is on WATP.
Yeah.
So you played those clips when Robert Smigel was on, and they had the post that went viral or something. And Stern was reading the comments, and he's like, what the fuck? People hate us? What the fuck is going on? And it's like, to be that insulated to not know that after 10 years of getting shit on. Like, he might be that delusional to think like, oh, people will be outraged if I leak this to the press.
Yes.
It's not so much delusion as it is who is surrounding him and what they know to tell him. The truth is not something you want to share with him because it's going to tweak him and then it's going to tweak everybody else. It all shit rolls downhill.
But it's crazy. Aside from maybe Marianne from Brooklyn or something, did anyone see anyone signal they're upset that Howard was no longer going to be on the air? I didn't see. I read tons of comments under tons of videos, and I've talked to tons of people. Nobody gives a shit.
A lot of people saying it's about time. I also, did you guys read that article about, I guess, the fact that he hates Alex Cooper with a passion?
Yeah, I saw that. They have to avoid them seeing each other because Howard gets upset. That seemed like it was bullshit, but it's possible, I guess.
I don't.
But if it's true,
that.
it's so the opposite of how he used to. If he hated Alex Cooper, we would all know about it, and that's
Right.
what defines no one caring about this show anymore. Is that it's all behind the scenes now.
But this version of Howard is not the version of Howard who, if he's got a problem with somebody, he'll go on the air and say it. He's trying to land the guests, and being upset with her, not liking her, is really not about her. It's about podcasting. It's about the what he sees as a cheat code. He had to make $86 a week doing shitty radio gigs, and now this girl gets this hundreds of millions of dollars like he got, and she just showed up. You know what I mean? In his eyes.
And not just.
And that's how comedians feel about TikTokers who get the headline. But guess what? You get over it because the industry is changing all the time.
But it's not
Get
just
a TikTok.
It's not just any girl. If she was still on Spotify, I don't think Howard would give a shit. It's the SiriusXM money that he wants. Hey, that's my $120 million. The fuck? That's really the reason why he's pissed at her. And I think the reason why he doesn't come out publicly and say it, if that is true, is because she works for Sirius, and Howard owns a lot of stock in the company. He's still an employee there.
Well, I was talking about this on my show yesterday, though. Howard was always smart about this stuff because I think on some level he knew if he talks about how much he hates Alex Cooper, then people are going to check out Alex Cooper's show. Why does he hate this bitch so much? Mm-hmm. It's like, it's good. That's good for Sirius, and Howard was one of the first people that ever understood that, I thought.
Yeah, because you could be right.
Even when he did that on terrestrial radio, he was usually talking about people in one market, right? He'd be talking about Mancow or whatever. It's the national audience could listen to him bitch about Mancow and love it, but yeah, he wasn't really going to be sending a lot of people over to Mancow.
And metrics wise, it's not the same fight as it was 25 years ago. Whereas you want to pick a fight with this podcast that has a ton more listeners than you do. So yeah, it's an uphill battle, these fights these days.
Or do you think I just thought of this. Do you think there's a chance, much like he had the, he shut up Opie and Anthony when they were all on SiriusXM? Do you think that Alex Cooper has made him not put
could be?
I don't think she
doesn't want Howard talking to him.
Probably not as thin-skinned as Howard is.
No, but I think she has more power than he does there.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Oh, you can listen to a shareholders meeting. Howard doesn't get brought up at all. She gets brought up quite a bit. The source describes Stern as being pumped up by the speculation over his next move. Oh, yeah. I can see Howard being really pumped up. That makes sense. It says, Howard likes what he likes and thought he could be bitter on how things are going. It isn't anything new to him. He also isn't blaming things on his age. The world has changed. He has changed himself. If he didn't, he would have been gone a long time ago. He still wants to figure something out to stay, especially for his team that would mostly be affected. The source continues. We'll get into the team in a second. Stern's audience has fallen from 20 million at its height to 125,000 daily listeners now. I don't know if any of those numbers are accurate. Everyone's reporting on this 125,000 number now because it was put out there by someone. And it's just like everyone just repeats it. And I don't think 20 million was ever accurate either.
I think 125,000 sounds slightly high to me just because that's a good podcast. And I don't hear people talking about Stern day to day the way I do whatever podcast gets 100,000 views, But it's on in the car you just bought. You know what I mean? Like just because you're not like avid Stern show fans, but it's like I bought this new car and I have Stern now and I turn it on. Like,
but that's where the number comes from,
right?
Is car rentals, car sales.
Right. How many people are actually listening to him and give a shit?
Well,
People not changing the radio.
Now that's different because, I don't know if they have the technology now, but I know when I was working there, all they could do was kind of guesstimate a percentage of how many listeners were. There was no actual way to say, okay, there's, 600,000 people tuned into this channel right now in all of Sirius.
Yeah, there's no way to track it. They do have the web metrics. So if you're using the player or if you're using the app or something, then they can kind of get a sense for that. But they have no idea what the numbers are. So the fact that it's being reported is kind of wild.
And Jim and Sam always used to say they used to base it on even phone calls coming in, stuff like that. But I mean, Howard's calls are all pretty. I mean, every once in a while a potato gets through.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, so this next article, everyone's speculating and talking about this. Howard Stern staffers prepping for show's demise, withholding best material as future uncertain. They're holding off on material. I don't think we should call Tradio until after he retires. The writing has been on the wall for over a year now that SiriusXM wouldn't be renewing Howard's colossal contract, and his employees have been taking advantage, coasting on the clock, and trolling for new gigs, two current show staffers told the Post. This week, reports surfaced that the Howard Stern Show's 19-year run at Sirius was nearing its end, with the $500 million contract expiring at the end of the year, and an audience has apparently dwindled from 20 million to 125,000. Some of the show's writers have their best jokes for themselves to use after the show's eventual demise. I don't even know how that works. That's how radio works. Like, I got this great joke about what Trump said last week, but I'm not going to pull that one out until I podcast in 2018 or 2026.
Yeah, and also, who's got something lined up after this that they're saving these jokes for? These writers that they're talking about,
That doesn't make any sense. But this makes sense. The quote is, most of us have been coasting at work the last year. We know he's retiring, whether by choice or because he's forced out, admitted one of the longtime staffers. You never got summers off when you were there, Shuli.
No, and let me tell you, one thing that does not happen there, no matter what, even during COVID, is coasting at work, okay? Nobody there is coasting. Nobody there has their feet up, not doing anything. It's run like a fucking machine. There's always something to do. There's no way I don't believe any of this.
That's crazy because there's 95 people who work on that show.
Carl, if you knew the amount of material that never gets on the air.
Then why is he doing his mom impression again for a half an hour? What the fuck?
Well, now it feels like I'm back in the writer's room at the show.
But so they're just producing all these bits and all this shit that just never gets aired. Because like cleaning out the computer day used to be one of my favorite bits that they would do. Where the guys would come in and be like, I prepped this for you 2 weeks ago. We haven't done this. We haven't done that.
Yeah, and it's like, he got caught up in this today, so he didn't get to that. Or he, this guest ran long, or he's just not feeling it, And it's just like, but people put in a lot of fucking work into that stuff. But that's also, you got to understand, that's where you work. Some shit's going to get used, some's not.
Of course.
Yeah.
Stern's employees have been putting out feelers for other show business gigs. It's been hard because the industry in New York City is so incestuous. So we don't know who's talking to who, the first employee said. I'm just hanging in there until this is all sorted out, and then I will take some time to unwind after all of this, the staffer continued. Okay. I'm a fan, and it's been a big part of my life for so long, but it hasn't been fun for a while. Before taking his annual summer break, Stern, 71 years old, hinted in staff meetings his retirement is nigh. The staffer said they've only heard rumors regarding Stern's future at SiriusXM, nothing definitive from management or the self-proclaimed king of all media himself. The looming end of the once mighty radio personality comes as a sharp change in Stern's politics. The radio host used to maintain a friendship with President Trump, but came out against him when he ran against Hillary Clinton in 2015, which I believe Trump said is the reason why no one listens to his show anymore. That was crazy. I love that you covered it, Mike, and just covered how dumb the media is.
It was crazy. It's crazy that a journalist said to Trump, so it's confirmed that Howard Stern was canceled yesterday. And Trump goes, that's confirmed? And the guy goes, yep.
No, none of that's
bananas.
True. None of that's true. And then it goes on to say he once was a strong supporter of Republicans like Giuliani and Pataki, but he's been accused of going woke, and he was an ardent backer of Biden and Harris. I know it's the wokeness that alienated some of his audience, or he just got tamer with age, but whatever it is, it's apparent no one wants to hear it anymore, the second staffer said. And it's apparently the political U-turn was done to appease the Hollywood elite. I believe that is definitely true. I think he's content to be out there in the Hamptons with his celebrity friends. He likes being liked by famous people. That seemed more important to him than his legacy. Some ribbed Stern, calling him Hollywood Howie after he started hanging out with the likes of Jimmy Kimmel, Jennifer Aniston, Jerry Seinfeld, and John Stamos during the late 2000s, early and mid 2010s. So, Shuli, I don't know, you might be distracted right now. You got stuff going on?
I got you.
I was very distracted today on the creep off. A lot of notes coming in. Anyway, I was talking about this on WTP because I spoke with someone who's an insider who said Jimmy Kimmel is really the reason that Howard Stern went full Hollywood and has completely changed who he is.
Why?
His politics. Because Jimmy took him aside and said, Howard, this is the way. You know, Jimmy's the one who threw those parties with all the A-list celebrities that they bring Howard to L.A. and now all of a sudden he's friends with Jennifer Aniston and going on vacation with her and Clooney and shit. And you're like, oh, wow. Completely different than what he used to be.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of a few things. I think America's Got Talent, getting a taste of that mainstream network treatment, right?
Yeah.
Soccer moms liking him, you know, families watching him as a judge. Then you have, I don't believe that Kimmel took him aside and said, this is the way to go. I think he saw the amount of celebrities that Kimmel had. You know, he was doing these interviews. People were praising him for his long form interviews with celebrities. And now he's like, I want Matt Damon to come on the show. I want Tom Cruise to come on the show. How come Jimmy gets these people and I can't? And so I think that combined with the other things was the perfect storm to just change it all and just be like, let's go.
I agree with all that. The guy I talked to had that conversation with Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy told him the same thing. That's why he speculated. I'm sure he had this conversation with Howard as well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so we had like this was a weird thing for sure. Like we had this message board that we just used back in the day, just the employees. And again, it was just the employees and we're pitching ideas. We're coming up with bits, whatever. It's all work related. It's like a modern version of Lotus Notes.
Yeah.
And then one day Jimmy Kimmel gets added to that message board and everybody was like, well, that's fucking weird.
Yeah. He works here now?
It's like, huh. So that's when the writing was on the wall pretty much, you know?
Let me just finish this up. It says, his passion hasn't been there, and that can be infectious, the first staffer says. When your boss doesn't even seem like he wants to be there, it's like, why should I bust my ass? Stern and Sirius did not return requests for comments. Now, Cardiff just sent me a link about speculation on who these two staffers are.
Dogs.
Ooh.
Chauncey
Hayden.
tweeted this out.
Chauncey, of course.
Sal and Richard betray Howard Stern to the New York Post. Will Stern fire them before he's fired? Chauncey writes. So, all right, you laughed at that.
Based on
Shuli.
what? Based on what? First of all, I think the two people that are most terrified to open their mouths there and talk to and are well trained to not talk to any reporters is Sal and Richard.
Yeah.
If this is accurate and you know some staffer spoke, it's a newer staffer. It's not an old school staffer. It ain't Sal. It ain't Richard. It ain't JD. It's not Will. It's not Jason.
Well, you know what's a weird clue in there is the one staffer going, I'm going to take some time off after this. So it's someone who's well paid.
Yeah, or someone with no overhead. I mean, everybody there is paid decently. They're paid through Sirius, so everybody there makes a decent living. You know, maybe it's somebody without a family. Maybe it's somebody, you know, a younger person. I don't know. Sal and Richard, no fucking way in hell. No way.
So why would Chauncey say that? Just for attention?
Probably. I mean, I don't know Chauncey all that well, but, you know, I don't think his batting average is perfect with his gossip stuff.
Shuli, in your experience there, is there like if Howard catches wind or one of Howard's people, is there like a full scale investigation to find out who's talking to the media, or do they not give a shit?
Oh, they did a thing back in the day. So there was a bunch of stuff coming out on Reddit about like dress codes at Sirius.
I remember that, yeah.
Right. So we all get called in to the studio one day. And it's Howard and it's the new regime leaders and Gary and Howard kind of makes a quick little statement, nothing major, and leaves. And then it was, the execs. And it was like good cop, bad cop, worst cop. So the first one was like Gary, and he's like, look, somebody's talking. Somebody said, I don't know who it is. I don't think it's anybody here, but if you can, stop doing that. And then it went to management. Management's like, you better cut the fucking shit, because we're going to find you. And then the last person was like, when we do find you, you'll never work in this industry again. And it was like, what the fuck was revealed? Launch codes? Like, what are we doing here? So, yeah. And I always said after those meetings, if you weren't a cigarette smoker, you were still going downstairs with the cigarette smokers because everybody would be down there going, what the fuck was that about? Can you believe that? Were we just threatened? Like, everybody's like, what just happened?
Did you ever find out who was leaking stuff?
Not 100%. No. So I don't.
We know where the Pelican brief came from. Thanks again, Shuli.
A mole. Let's just say there was a mole.
So, Howard came on a couple days after this news came out. He did an emergency show with Lars. And I went and listened to it, just wondering if he was going to mention it, comment on it, nothing.
Well,
there was no.
I think the Lars interview was pre-recorded.
And no, he took calls.
He did take calls during it? Well,
he took calls after. Marianne.
Yeah, that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, it still could be pre-recorded.
Oh, that's true. It isn't.
Because he did take calls. I played one of the fake calls on my show because then he talked to Richard about Ozzy's passing, right?
Yeah.
So, they didn't mention it at all. I can't imagine that first article we read where Howard's got a spring in his step. He's skipping around the Hamptons right now. He's how excited about going to a video platform. He's got to be so pissed off about all of this.
I worked around him for 15 years. I've never seen him pumped up once for anything.
Right. But doesn't he have enough money to live at this point? More than enough? Several lifetimes over. So
for generations, the Stern family will be fine. Yeah. For sure.
It almost seems like he's just, I don't think it's about the money, but it's about the money, but he just needs something to be connected to. Like, yeah, that's his. He needs to be doing a show.
Justify his worth.
Yeah, he doesn't want to do it every day.
But I like how people are saying, he's going to take a hit on this contract, only $20 million. It's like, ouch.
Yeah,
ouch.
He's not saying yes to that though. That's a bad look. Right? There's no way he's going to go from $100 million a year to $20 million a year. That's a huge.
Unless it's $20 million for 15 interviews or something. You know what I mean? Like something crazy.
Right.
Yeah, listen, you're telling me a guy can work out of his fucking house for $20 million a year, and I'm going to be like, what a fucking loser. Well, that guy looks stupid.
I hear you, but you know how his ego is. He's not going to allow that.
But he can't compete in where it's at today. Like that guy is gone. That's the only guy that could make waves and get numbers. And
I agree.
Nobody wants to hear an in-depth interview. Everybody's doing it. Who gives a shit?
What's also interesting that he was really focused on the video aspect. When this counter narrative that they're putting out there, because Sirius has put out. They've tried to build a video platform and do all that stuff with the app and the website, but they're focused on cars again. They're like, no, we're in audio. We got satellites in the sky. We do audio. That's what we're doing. That's what we specialize in. And that's why they're doing the podcasts, and that's the direction they're going. So it's almost as if Howard, again, he's using this for leverage in the negotiation to be like, look at how I'm sought after by Netflix and HBO. And I can't imagine he'd want to be on a video.
I mean, I think it almost seems like he just wants to be like Letterman, right? Like Letterman got the Netflix deal, do some interviews here and there. Like maybe he's thinking that, but
I've always been surprised he hasn't just done that because it's essentially what he's doing on the radio for some reason.
The last contract renegotiation, he had there was a really strong buzz that he was going to go to Netflix and do just that.
I remember
to the point where staffers were like, do you think I'll go? Do you think well, he doesn't need me, he doesn't need what I do, and people were like kind of Xing themselves out of the future. I don't know. I'm sure there's a streaming service that'll throw him some cash to come and interview people.
And we know who can be his announcer.
But then the question is, Gary's the only one he takes with him, right? I mean,
you got to have Robin in there. Well, unless Robin just wants to retire.
Yeah. And then Fred just.
But yeah, that stuttering moron, which we'll talk about in just a moment, did put it out there that he would be happy to replace.
John, we're getting the band back together.
Yeah, right.
Get me Gilbert Gottfried on the phone.
So insane. We have 1,700 people in here watching the show right now. I appreciate you all being here with us, and I really appreciate you supporting the show and interrupting us with supertip.gg/WATP like Weird Comet.
What am I getting out of this one? $3.82. Keep going. Losers.
Oh, shit. This one is going directly into John's bank account. Fuck.
Yep.
Fuck. Don't even give it to me. This is terrible. Michael P., I'm looking forward to dabbling in commentary this afternoon. Shalom, SH. Go Bills, KH.
Mike P. Go Bills.
Just don't understand that. Beef Drippins.
Oh, y'all are in trouble.
Suck my cock, you piece of shit. Oh, hey, Don.
Don's not on this show. Drunk Engineer.
Hey, guys.
Your Honor, I'd now like to call John's gimpy Halloween hand to the stand.
Stewie fell coming in. He says, this intro song is my new favorite. Used to be BS show. R.I.P. Bob.
Oh.
That intro song is your favorite? Really?
You gotta get out, man.
Yeah, man. Have you heard this little piggy? Best fucking intro song. Anyway, moving on. Hunter Duke. Carl, you're 100% on about shame month for fatties, but folks like SJ, Aaron, Opie, Chad, Gino, and Kiki need it too. Cardiff rules.
That's right.
Yeah, Chrissy, I don't know if you heard my theory. So we did a show called Weight Watchers last week with Dick Masterson and Vinny and a couple guys for the Creep Off and Dick Show Patrons. And the idea that there's Pride Month, there's a whole month where the LGBT community is just like so prideful of everything they're doing. Can we just have a shame month for fatties, the obese population?
I would love that. Yeah, anybody who's taking too long to lose the baby weight, of which I'm included in that.
Jesus
yeah.
Christ, shame on you.
Shame is good. It works.
And what I want to do is I want to make shame month more than a month. I want it to start before Thanksgiving and end after New Year's. That's really the time to put some shame on these
that's
assholes.
when you eat. Then you're eating. That's the
Don't.
eating.
That's what I'm
time.
saying.
Tough love. It's
Right.
tough love.
Dave Daffler coming in.
I'm here for the vacuum cleaner reviews.
Shout out to Marshall.
Rob Saul. Rob Saul says, Rob Saul. Thank you, Rob.
Thank you, Rob Saul.
Gar Saxon.
You guys are so lucky that Vince isn't here to put you all on blast. But unfortunately, he has been cornered by a large and particularly nasty cat. And his wife isn't taking his call, so wait for it.
Stewie felt. Howard has become Fat Elvis with the Memphis Mafia protecting him. Over 90 people make their living off of him. I still can't figure that out, Julie. I realize, the tapes team and they're running the two stations, but how the fuck
Well, there's a lot of tapes to edit and take out stuff.
Right.
That's number one.
Did you happen to catch when I had E-Rock on the show and he was talking about his interactions with the tape team and how they're eliminating stuff that Sirius will never have access to?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Is that true?
Oh, yeah.
So the negotiation, we didn't even talk about this, but the negotiation for the archives has to be part of this whole contract negotiation. That there's a possibility that Howard doesn't sign with Sirius, but Sirius still has the rights to play old Howard Stern episodes.
Yeah, I forget the time frame, but it was different from the contract that when he renegotiated and did that deal, the amount of time they own the archives was quite larger than the 5-year contract.
So that won't even be negotiated. They already have it.
I believe so.
Okay. Because if that's the case and Howard is no longer controlling that, it would be really nice if we could hear Arty Lang on the Howard Stern show again. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, don't worry. We got our own archives, Carl.
Yeah, I recommend a place called YouTube if you want to hear that.
I know. It is all there, but, it's nice to just be able to pop it on and listen to full episodes. It was crazy when Norm Macdonald passed away, and they edited Arty out of the clip that they posted.
It was just recently again. I don't know if they did it the first, but when Bob Uecker died, they played a Norm clip.
Oh, right.
And they edited Arty out of that.
And not,
Wow.
I mean,
That's so disappointing.
I listened to Howard most of my adult life, and I can tell you without a doubt, no one made that man laugh harder than Arty just from telling his story. You go back and listen to that Ash Wednesday story about his bookie threatening to kill his friend's family with the big cross on his forehead. And Howard, you never hear him laugh like that anymore, ever. It's just howling. And to cut that guy from anything, fuck, man.
It's insane.
Insane.
Who are these podcasts?